what do you bring me? Baby boy. Okay. What are we? One of my favorite photos that I ever captured and edited is this one right here. Now, I've been editing photos on daily basis for the last 10 years, and the other day I did something that I've never done before. I asked a bunch of different photographers to edit my photo in any way that they wanted. Basically, they got the raw file and were free to do whatever their creativity allowed them to do. Personally, I think this is really fun because everybody is different and has different visions in their head. So my friends, today we're going to take a look at that with a little critical eye. I'm going to do a bit of commentary, and maybe we need to jump into Lightroom if there is something that needs a little bit, fixing. All right, so here is the photo that everybody got to edit. I'm not taking a look at this before, so I'm really excited. I've never had people edit my photos, and especially not this many people. All right, so the first photo that we see is from none other than Nikos. All right, so this, it's not bad. Let me open it up like this. I'm not going to go too hard on you, but I want this also to be a little bit of critical feedback as well. But I'm pretty pleased. Color's pretty cool. I love that you put these warm tones here up in the sky. It makes it really, really cool. One thing that I wish that you would have done, or at least with this photo, is to make a radiant filter here on the middle. You've probably done that, but I would open up this space a little bit more. I think that would have been pretty cool and just help making the photo a little bit more three-dimensional. Personally, I would probably add a other filter down here, like a gradient filter, and darkening the foreground ever so slightly, and then another radial filter up here to help emphasis on the light. Color-wise, I think we're pretty cool. I think the blue color here is a bit too heavy, and we'd probably have taken that down. And then the boat itself, one thing that you can do in this photo is to add a mask on the boat and help draw out that red tone. So I think that would help making it pop a little bit. But overall, I think it's pretty cool. And I see that you're also taking your time and cleaned up the water. That is very, very, very important. There's a lot of things that were in this water. It's very tedious, but by cleaning it up, you can make this photo much, much better. Overall, I think it's pretty good. I think it's just so strange seeing my photo edited like this. But anyway, let's go on to the next one. And that is Liam. All right. Okay. So first thing first, this is a bit overcooked in my opinion. Art is subjective, but I think this is you've gone quite hard. Now, Liam is a fantastic photographer, and his style of photography is really grunge, really edited, so I can really understand why he went for this type of edit, really, really saturated, a lot of colors. Now, what I do think is pretty cool is the teal and orange look. We have very deep color contrast right here, which is pretty sick. Now, in my opinion, it's not the contrast is okay. I like contrasty photo, but I think it's just a bit too much blue. I think if you just had pulled back the blue quite a little bit, it wouldn't be this screaming this is the edit. But again, this is just subjective in what I'm thinking. I think overall, I loved how they brighten up the middle here and helped get the both to pop like this. I think it's really, really cool. Now, one thing that I would have liked to seen you do is to take a little time and clean up the water right here. I think that would have made it look pretty sick. But overall, a bit overcooked for my liking, but also pretty cool. Anyways, let's go to the next one then, and that is Dan. So Dan, what did you do? Okay. The first black and white. This is super, super cool. Now, Dan is a fantastic photographer. He's been photographing for a long time, and he's really into black and white photography. And this one, I think you pretty much nailed it. Didn't you go for Ansel Adams? Yeah, a huge fan of Ansel Adams when it's about landscapes. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Super, super cool. The sky here, absolutely fantastic. I love the contrast that you made here and just how you brought it to life. I love also, it seems like there's a lot of masking involved here. And the boat itself and the subject, they did it so white, so it stands out so much. This is super cool. I would not have thought about this. Again, I think if you'd clean the water, I don't know if you're more of a purist. No, I don't. If you show me an edit like this, I don't think you're too much of a purist. but cleaning up the water here, it would just make this photo so much more cleaner. We wouldn't have all this shit here, and we would just get a proper clean reflection. But overall, I think this is really cool and cool way that you interpreted the photo. Now, who's next? Is it David? All right, let's see. All right. Okay, so positivity. I think this is cool. And we're just gonna leave it. No, I'm just gonna we'll do a little bit more commentary here. So the colors are super cool. One thing that I'm very unsure about is the motion blur. Why all this motion blur? And I mean, even if we use the motion blur, wouldn't we want to see a little bit more of it here? I get a little bit dizzy looking at this. But enough of the shit talk. But overall, I think this is like super cool. And the colors are definitely pretty sick, in my opinion. Now, David is also pretty good at photography, and he has a style that is pretty edited, which I like. I think it's like really cool, the photos that I see from him. And the color scheme overall is pretty nice, but it's this motion blur, which I'm not that sure of. But hey, each to their own, right? Now, if you're wondering like what this is, this space that you're looking at, then this is basically my private community that I run for photographers. I call it the darkroom at the moment. I might switch it in the future to the photography lab. Not sure. Let's see what the future beholds. But you can kind of think about this as a gym, but for photographers. You come in, you practice, you get better, you have some fun, you chill with others that are just as nerdy as you about photography. I personally love this space. I know that I run this and I'm here like all the time, but I think what we built is pretty cool. I mean, we have these like editing games going on very often. This was one of them. Everybody got to edit my photo, but we do some difference from time to time. We also have a monthly photo challenge. This we do every single month where we focus on a like specific subject, and then we have a few little game and a competition around it. This month we're doing like silhouettes, next month motion blur and symmetry. We've been doing this for half a year, so we had like bunch of other ones, and some of the photos that have like come from this challenge are just like absolutely next level and amazing. Super fun. We have spaces that are just dedicated for like getting and giving feedback, which in my opinion is just invaluable when you want to like become better at something by getting a second pair of eyes, and even also giving feedback. That's also a way for you to grow. Then of course we have like courses, we do lectures pretty often. You'll get access to all of my digital products, and then we have spaces just for chatting and chilling and like hanging out with each other. As I said, I think this is really fun, especially like photography can be a little bit of a lonely. I mean, we are like in the corner taking our photos, and it's like just really fun to be in a space where we can together be in the corner and taking photos and just like nerd about this stuff. Anyway, spots are limited, but at the moment we are open, so you can check in the description down below if you want to see more information. But we were here and we were gonna take a look at more of the photos here. So let me see. We've done David, and who is next then? We have it's David number 2, David Patton here. So let me see. Pretty nice, like edit, very clean. I see they clean the water. I would probably, if I'm gonna be picky, want to see a bit more contrast. We've lost. I see that you've like opened up the shadows quite a lot, and that's cool. I mean, this photo was really dark, and one thing that I do to my photos, I always underexpose them. The reason is that for digital photography, it's much easier to retrieve the shadows than the highlights. So if you blow out the highlights, it's much harder to bring them back, while like crushed shadows, it's much easier to bring back. So this photo was quite underexposed, but I think it's a little bit too much. If you were just to add a bit more of a contrast, it would be cool. But overall, I mean, the both, you know, pops a lot, and it just looks clean, nice. I have nothing to say here. Like, great job, man. And the next one, another black and white. So let me see. All right. So John is a photographer who's been shooting for a long time, like since the 70s, like way before I was born. And he really much focuses on black and white photography, and the photos I've seen from him are great. Now, this black and white is super cool. I mean, just look at this sky here. It looks sick. And again, it's just like what I'm reacting to right now is the crop. So firstly, I'm not a huge fan of this crop. I'm just gonna like say it there. I'm not gonna say that everything is positive, but like, I would like to pick John's brain to see like why he went for this crop itself. But the black and white edit, just look at the sky. It's absolutely sick, and I think it's really cool. It's fun seeing Buddy experiment with the crop, but I'm not the hugest fan. But I think it's cool. And then again, like cleaning the water here, I think would have made this a very like cool image. Or like I edited it. One of my favorite. It's a cool image. But let me see. Who's next? Tamas. Oh. All right. Very like vintage. Super cool. Like definitely not what I would do, but it's really cool. It's just so cool to see so many different photographers trying out the same photos with their vision and coming out with very different results. I think that is just fabulous, and you learn so much just seeing this. This is sick. Well done. By the way, very soon I'll be dropping my full Lightroom masterclass. If you want to get early access and big discount and some other good perks, there is a waiting list down in the description down below. Anyway, the next one is none other than Gert. So let me see, what did Gert come up with? This photo right here. Okay. Now, this looks okay. I like that it's pretty clean. I think that is like really, really cool. What I would have liked to see, I see that you've removed a ton of blue colors here, and we just got, it's a bit gray from here. Maybe that is intentional, I'm not sure. But I think by adding just a slight blue, maybe with the color grading tab, into the shadows would have been a really cool choice. Then the boat itself, maybe if that was like made a little bit more red, like drawing out those red tones in that oak, I think that would have been pretty cool. But overall, it's a pretty clean edit, very simple. I like it. Nothing to say here. Good job, man. And next one is Conrad. All right, here we have something super stylized. What am I looking at now? So, I think here I'm really digging that you decided to push in a ton of warm tones in the sky. That is pretty sick. I mean, nothing bad to say about it there. The thing that I'm like a little bit, I think we're losing a bit of contrast, and also it's a bit dull in a way that I would like to have seen a bit more like 3D pop. Okay, let me just like jump into Lightroom real quick here, like save image and jump into Lightroom. All right, so here we are in Lightroom, and as you can see, if we were just to add a bit of a radial filter here, I think that would be cool. I think that you might have added one here, but it seems like it's mostly affecting this space if you've added. There's at least a little more brighter here, and it looks a little bit strange. But let me see. If you just go plus and add a subject mask, just like this, and just we drag it up the exposure, I think just already a little bit of that, it just makes it a ton better. And then I would add another one, and with a gradient filter, just like so, or a radiant this is, and just drag the exposure. And you can see here on the histogram, we can drag it up quite a lot before we start to like up with the shadows. I would probably add it like so. Something like this. This is maybe a little bit too much. It's a little bit strange. But then I think I would just like drag up the contrast. Maybe it's just lacking a bit of contrast. But then again, we can add one more here and just take this down. So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make this photo a bit more three-dimensional. Now we haven't done much. It's just 3 masks, but we're taking it from this to this. And I think it's already a little bit better. We open up the middle, brought more attention and more light there, and closing a little bit on here in the foreground. Now, this is just really sloppy and quickly done, but I think I get the like idea of what I'm trying to do here. But overall, I think it's not bad, but I think like the colors are a little bit like the boat is blending a bit with the background here. And yeah, but I mean, pretty cool and well done. I see that also they clean the water really, really, really well. Well done on that. I know that is a lot of job that goes into that. So cool, man. And again, the warm tones here, super, super, super cool. All right, so next, who do we have? We have Aurelius. Let me see, what do you bring me? Baby boy. Okay. What are we? This is not my style at all, but I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's take this bigger. Okay. So firstly, the crop is different. That is cool. You went for the like rule of thirds. That's pretty nice. So I went for this a center, and many people here went for like straight center composition. I like center compositions, but they can run the risk of feeling a little bit too safe, a little bit too predictable. So like adding some sort of rule of thirds or like slightly off center often makes photos, in my opinion, more interesting. Not always, but often. But I see that like you went very heavy with the color. Now what is really cool though is how the boat now pops from the background. But bro, you removed the rope, but it did not clean the water. Why? If you already taken this away, you couldn't just like, maybe this is like a challenge for us. And it takes a little time, but going that extra mile. But yeah, overall, pretty cool, but not different than my style, but I like it. It's fun to see. So who is next? Jessica. All right, so let me see. So Jessica is like quite new to photography, but she's doing a good job, and this is cool. I mean, I like it. Now, I think we've lost a bit of contrast here, so I would definitely add contrast. And like, I know that I'm going and sawing every edit here. I just don't want this video to be like a Instagram comment field where everybody's just like, oh, fire emojis, sick shot, bro. Instead, let's make this a little bit constructive as well. But I think like everybody has edited this really, really cool, and it's fun to see like how you guys are interpreting this. But let me see. So I think we're a bit on the teal side here with the color. The boat pops really well. I think that is pretty cool. I might have reduced the blue a little bit and then just added a bit of more contrast, at least to the mountain. I think would have been really cool. But overall, pretty sick. Maybe a radial filter here down with dehaze, getting a little of that like light effect of the light, but it's cool. Well done. Now, who is next then? We have... Oh, okay. What the hell? What the fuck? What am I even looking at? Okay. So... Elliot here decided to try something completely different. No shit. What? This, I'd never in my life had I expected me to see this today. Okay, what are we looking at? This is interesting. We have something completely different. And what do you say here? For the ray, you used Affinity Photo and drew the outline with the pen tool. Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, this is really creative. This is exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see something that is absolutely flipped out, and you just went and just creativity to the max. And that is what I think is so beautiful about photo editing, whether it is in Lightroom or even going Photoshop or whatnot, is that you are free to create whatever you want. There is no police gonna like knock on my door and be like, excuse me, your photo that you just posted, it does not represent reality anymore. You are a fraud and you're frauding. I sometimes get these comments and I'm like, bro, chill out, man. Like, relax. We're not in a competition trying to create the most normal photo. Pretty cool. I think it's cool. It's so different. And I think this lighting source here is pretty cool. I would not have done this myself. But again, like you clean the water. Which I'm like, you clean the water, then you did a good job. But I just know how much time that took. But very cool, man. Very creative. Very creative. All right, let me see next one. That is Matteo. Wait, what? Did you stretch the mountain somehow? Does it look like this? Wait, let me see. If you go make just a 4x5 here on Conrad's photo, something like this. Did you just go for an even tighter maybe? Like this? Yeah. I was just struck by how big the mountain was. This is cool. Again, you're doing a really different crop like John did. I'm not the biggest fan, but it makes a little bit of sense. I think it's cool. Now, I think I would have like added a still more diligent burn here. I would emphasize the light sources coming here a bit more, and then maybe like taking down the light here so we have more of that contrast. I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe add a radial filter to like help with the like light source that is coming in here. I was gonna say if we should make a mask and like help draw out that red color in the boat. I think like that's what I did. You can see here, I made the boat much more like redder. I think that like really helped drawing it out. But the thing is, did he crop it like this because he thought it was cool, or was he lazy because he didn't want to clean up the water? Anyway, so let me see. Simon did an edit here. Let me see how Simon did one. So I made it darker and darker the greens, especially the blues. Also, when I looked at the photo, I thought, okay, I got you. Let's see what you got, man. All right, that's pretty sick. It's pretty cool. I think color scheme, I mean, is nice. It's a little bit too green in my opinion. We're starting to get some weird colors here in the sky. And then the boat is a little bit too brushed in my opinion. It worked really well for Dan's photo, but he was going for like some very specific thing. But overall, I mean, it's pretty clean. The water is clean. If the water is clean, then I'm happy, you know. But I think this looks fresh, man. I think it's cool. Just a little bit down with the brightness here on the boat, and I think we've like landed with something pretty sick. But all in all, not bad. And not bad in my books. That's actually pretty good, you know. All right, so who's next? It's Pierre. Let me see what he did. Wow. So this is the second photo that we have a completely different composition. We have the rule of thirds. I think that is cool. Now, Pierre takes fantastic pictures, and he does a lot of like this cinematic style of edit. So I can completely understand why he decided to go for this edit. It's very, very stylized. The blues here, in my opinion, are a bit too heavy, but like you removed also the rope. I thought the rope was so cool. I'm taking this personal. Why did you? No, I'm kidding. I'm not taking a little bit, but I'm just kidding. But I'm thinking with the reflection, did you do something to it? No, it's pretty similar. I was thinking if you just enhanced it a ton, it looks really, really cool. Maybe because we have a different like here we have this one. Like Artelis, the sky here is absolutely on fire, like literally. Did you do something with the? Feels like, but either way, the reflection is super cool. Water is pretty clean. Like, what do you guys think about this composition compared to the middle composition? I'm not sure. I think I like the middle composition more. It brings a lot of like cool symmetry to this photo because the symmetry was just spot on. And when we have good symmetry, that's when I think like center framing is like really, really like hits home. But this is like awesome too. And I see that you like emphasize the light here. Pretty cool. I mean, all in all, again, it's just so strange and so cool to see people editing my photos in so many different ways. And everybody's just coming up with different ways based on their own creative style and vision and whatnot. By the way, I've been working on my Lightroom masterclass for almost half a year and it's just about to be finished. Many of the members have like tried it and I can guarantee you, like if you do that, it will like massively make you a better editor in just like 30 days. If you're interested, then there's just a link in the description down below. Hop on the wait list. You'll get massive discount once in like lunches plus a bunch of other cool perks. Anyway, let's take a look at the next photo. So Heath, what did you bring to us? What did Heath do? It's not bad. It's a nice little edit, but I feel like there is something a little bit strange to it. So the blue color here is a bit too much in my opinion. There's a lot of like cleaning in the water that you could have done. And then you had made me smile and a big point in my books, but you didn't. And that's you know, I don't know what to think about that. No, I'm kidding. I'm not mad at you, but just a little bit. But there is a little bit too like much like tint in my opinion, maybe. But then I feel like you had a radial filter here, or are you emphasizing on the light source here? Is that what I'm reacting to? Because if that is what I'm doing, I'm not totally sure, then that should have been done here. Because the sun is here, and you can see just how the sun hits the boat, and we have a shadow on this side. So emphasizing the light source here would have been right. But I'm not sure, because I just feel like this side, there's some dehaze going on here, I think. But overall, not bad. And I think it did a pretty decent job. Now, I know that editing photos in Lightroom can be a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of things that you can do, and it's a pretty massive program. In this video right here, I break down what's, in my opinion, the fastest way to learn Lightroom step by step in this day and age.